Ah, the very, very vast reaches of space. The twinkling lights, the stars. It makes you feel alone, scared. But in today, we're not talking about the game. We're talking about the movie. So, hello everyone, my name is MG Melon and welcome back. And I do mean, welcome back to the channel. Before we even start today's video, if you guys want to like and subscribe now, or comment down below your thoughts about this video, you can. So, without a further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, how did I feel about the movie? I thought the movie was good, and I was going to put this at an 8 out of 10. And in my spoiler territory, I'll explain that, but right now I'm not going to. But I do want to get things started about like how I felt about the movie a little bit before we even go to spoiler territory. I thought the movie was good. Yeah, there was a lot of Easter eggs, like too many Easter eggs, but I thought it was good. Even though there are some story elements that are flawed, but I'll get into that in a bit. Well, I was going to put this at an 8 out of 10, but it's going to turn out to be a 7 out of 10 because I'm going to explain the whole process of the reason why I put it at 7 out of 10. You can hate me all you want, you can agree with me, I really don't care. This is my opinion. And once I go into spoiler territory, I will explain and put together both conclusions of both a critical review and my own review and mash them together and see what we get. So, without a further ado, we're going to go right into spoiler territory. So if you guys haven't seen the movie, you can click off now. Or if you still haven't seen the movie but you still want to watch the review just in case. Or, hey, just watch the video if you want to. So, without a further ado, I'm going to get right into the spoiler territory in 3, 2, 1. If you haven't clicked off now, here we go. So, I wanted to talk about characters and how there's some characters that didn't have less full potential as they should. So, I'm going to go over some of the characters that been like ignored or had less like time spent or etc. So here are the characters right now. It goes from Petey Piranha, Dry Bowser, the Womp King, Bowser's brother, the Mario Odyssey Dragon, the Angry Sun, Bowser Jr.'s like things, and Professor Egad. And don't worry, I'm not going to be completely shitting on the movie. I'm going to be showing this off while I keep talking about other things, okay? So, I'm going to go over my complaints first, and then I'll go over to the good things after. So, one of the things that I wish had more attention was Bowser's, like, build-up when he became good, back to evil. So, when Bowser became good, he was, like, evil at the beginning, and like, trying to be harsh against Mario for a little bit, but as soon as he became big, he kisses Mario, and then he's like, well, now I'm good again, for like almost the entire movie. As soon as he gets taken from Bowser Jr. up into the UFO, then he's like trying to convince his son, like, hey, you probably shouldn't kill these guys, they're good, I love them, and etc. And he's like, that's weird. And then later on, when Bowser Jr. shows him up into a crowd of like all of his enemies, then he immediately switches back to evil, and then like all that stuff before basically was pointless, which is kind of disappointing. One of the little minor details I noticed was Chris Pratt's voice as Mario sounded a little bland. Like what he did was at near the end of the movie. I don't know if there's other voice lines that sounded a little bland, but I noticed this 100% in this movie when he was like trying to convince Bowser on the bridge. He's like, hey, Bowser, I know there's some good in you. He literally said it in that way. He's like, Bowser, there is some good in you, which I thought was a little strange and bland. There were some like quick transitions that were weird in the movie, like not giving the cool areas enough time, like, Mr. Miyamoto apparently said that he wanted to give this movie, like, a bunch of cool stuff being thrown at kids and all this other stuff, like this, like, kind of like this brain rot sort of movie, just being like, I'm gonna throw everything to give you your attention span at all times. Which it really didn't. It just basically threw stuff that would give you your attention span, yes, but to things that don't really matter, like Bowser's backstory against the sun that was completely pointless, or how the Rosalina and Peach thing was kind of pointless too. Like, I get it that they might be related in the games, but as sisters is a little strange from the movie, which kind of like was confusing. Or how the Bee Queen was evil, which was weird, and was enslaving them, which it was the opposite. The bugs were attacking the bees and not the queen enslaving the bugs, which is a little strange. But what I mean is there are some areas in the games that they should have shown in the movies too, but I'm gonna get into that in a little bit, but like the areas I'm talking about is that with Bowser's theme park, they didn't give enough time when they're at the final planet. They also made a random cockpit, which was strange, for the space observatory or Rosalina's spaceship, which was strange because there's no cockpit to that place. It's only through the wand. And like other things like that, which just confuse you. There are some like missed galaxies that I noticed too, but we're gonna get into that in a moment. There are some like Star Wars references too, like similarities to Star Wars, like Princess Peach choking Wart, similar to Princess Leia choking out Jabba the Hutt, or Princess Peach and Toad entering into a bar filled with a lot of freaks and enemies. Same with Tatooine, when both Obi-Wan and Luke, when they're trying to find Han Solo and Chewbacca in the scene, in like the bar scene in Tatooine. Bowser's planet being the representation of the Death Star, since it's a super weapon too. So there are some similarities, including like Fox McCloud being like the cool guy throughout the entire thing, almost resembling as Han Solo. So there's that, if you will. There are some like a little more elements from the first movie that go into the second one, like they mainly use most of the power-ups at the very end of the movie, or that Bowser gets up exactly how he does in the first movie. Instead of him becoming Dry Bowser in this movie, he gets up out of the rocks inside of the first movie. And also the metal, keeping characters behind metal bars that happened in the first movie when like Bowser enslaved Luigi inside of the castle they had. So it worked with both ways. So he enslaved Luigi and they enslaved Bowser in the next one, which was a kind of cool nod to the first movie, but yeah, there are some first movie elements too. There are some like content in the movie that like pretty much like pushed content and ideas for like upcoming movies. Kind of like was the whole point of this movie, which was a little strange. Like there's ideas like, do you want a Donkey Kong movie, a Punch-Out movie, a Star Fox movie, a Pikmin movie, a Smash movie, a Yoshi's Island movie, like a Metroid movie. Like there's like a lot of those references being shoved in your face, which is a little strange for the entire movie basically being based off that. Also, the movie is not long enough, and it's too fast-paced for moments that don't need to be fast-paced, or it needs to be like slower down to things that make more sense and matter the most. Because most of the movie just was slow-paced for the things that didn't matter, but was fast-paced for the things that were cool. Which is strange because it kind of defeats the purpose of what Mr. Shigeru Miyamoto was trying to comment about the whole thing about he wanted a fast-paced movie. He didn't want to care about the story, but he did care about the story, just of a story that didn't really matter, and instead of giving the ideas that were cool inside kids' faces, or to our face in the audience, he instead gave us things that didn't matter at all and just pushed that idea forward on screen, which I thought was weird. Also, there is a recent thing that happened, which was the Fox McCloud game that showed up. Uh, I'll show bits and pieces of it right now, before we go off to the Super Mario Galaxies, so we can have like a break in between. Uh, which was strange because they shadow dropped it out of nowhere on their channel, and which was even more strange because the movie was basically hinting towards Fox McCloud having a game and promoting that game, even though it's, I heard, a basically remake of Star Fox 64, and then replacing that with their new title just called Star Fox, a rebrand of the entire Star Fox franchise. It does look good, but it's kind of weird that they shadow dropped it, even though it's one of their most important games they were bringing back. So, I thought that was also strange too. Okay, there are some galaxies that I do want to show off, because they are just weird that... There are like some weird things that I wish were shown in the movie, like Ghostly Galaxy, or Dusty Dunes Galaxy, or... I was gonna put Sweet Sweet Galaxy on there, but now thinking about it, it doesn't make sense for the storyline, but it's also an iconic galaxy too. Like, why the hell would they forget about Ghostly Galaxy, and most important galaxy in Mario Galaxy in general, the one with Bouldergeist, the Boo Mario or Boo Luigi, well basically just the Boo Mushroom, and like the bones and like the mechanic where you can use like the blue star things that will suck you in. Also wish that was kind of shown in the movie, because that's also as common as star launchers too. Hell, it's even more common than the star launchers. But there are some upsides with the movie, but there are some things that just don't make any sense with me, and that's one of them. Here's some of the upsides that I have with the movie. Now, they showed off like characters like Big Bertha, they showed off so many different types of characters in the movie. But the only downside is that they didn't show enough characters, or they did show off characters that's not long enough for us to recognize it. Because they put a lot of stuff in the background, which was cool, but for a movie to catch your eye for the first time, it's kind of hard making out every single Easter egg in the background, every single thing that's going on. And it kind of ruins the movie a little bit, because it's like Easter egg hell, pretty much, which is like trying to shove as much Easter eggs all around you in space and all types of stuff. There are some things that they did show off in the movie that were galaxy related, but just that they didn't show it off long enough, which was the star bits, the black holes, especially the black holes. They were just shown at the very beginning of the movie and not throughout the rest of the movie, which was strange. They showed off the crystals, they showed off the star bunnies, they showed off some of the gravity, but not all of the gravity. And another thing that goes with this, too, is that I wish they didn't make huge planets, because it kind of ruins the vibe of Super Mario Galaxy. And hell, most of the movie doesn't even feel like Super Mario Galaxy at all, either, because it doesn't even feel like you're in space. It only feels like you're in space when you're out of the planet and you're in space. And they make it feel like it's like Star Wars, kind of, or like trying to relate to Star Wars, which Mario Galaxy is nothing like Star Wars at all. It's a slow-paced game that makes you feel like you're in this vast, open, like, universe that makes you feel alone and makes you feel like there's so much more out there that you don't know about. And that's what made Super Mario Galaxy what it was. And for this movie to be a Super Mario Galaxy title, it didn't need to be Super Mario Galaxy, it needed to just be a second movie. Hell, if they wanted to do like backstory for like personal characters, like for Bowser and Bowser Jr.'s backstory and other characters like that, for like upcoming sequels and stuff, I wish they didn't do that and made that into a show of themselves. Hell, maybe they can bring back the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, but not in like live action mixed with animation, just animated entirely, and then put it on like Netflix or something. Because that would be cool. But the bottom line is, if you're gonna do something like this and call it Galaxy related, it's not Galaxy related, and just call it a second movie at that point. Like, it would have got more love if it was called a second movie, but also it still is a little disappointing at times where there are things that didn't fully get there, almost like some details. But the bottom line what I'm saying is, if you're gonna make a movie like this, just make it into a show or a second movie, either or. And did I like the movie? Yes. I was gonna put this for an 8 out of 10. But now thinking about all of this, it was gonna drop my score down to like a 7.5, maybe even a 7. Only because this movie does not feel like a movie, and there are some parts of this movie that just feel completely pointless. And as unfortunate as that seems to me, as much as I like the movie, I just can't deny the facts that this is just what the movie is. So, as a critical score, I'm gonna give this, and yeah, you're gonna probably hate me for this, it's probably gonna be a 5 out of 10. And then mixing that together, you get a 6 or a 6.5 out of 10. That is not that good, and I know it sucks for like the art, the animation, the whole like music, but this is a pretty mid movie for its story. The story basically ruined the movie. I still like the movie, and I'm sure and you need to watch the movie for yourself. If you don't agree with me, watch it yourself. Think about why I'm rating it this low, and just get back to me on like under this video and comment down if you agree, disagree, or hell, if there's any details I missed, let me know down below, and I can pin that comment, and make sure that that is right too. But other than that, I am MG Melon, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.